So, in preparing for this speech, I wanted to make sure that something that BQLI has done very well with over the past couple of weeks, and something that I think when we look back in 2012, we'll be proud of, is our ability to have consistency in our messaging, our actions, our thoughts, even though we have 8, 9 guys that are trying to be leaders in their own way. And that individualization is good, but to have that consistency sometimes can be tough. And I think lately we've done very well with linking the meetings together and having that consistent flow. So I want to make sure that I kept that going. So I thought about Tamara doing his speech on vision, and Zumo's on leadership, and we talk about Pepper and deliberate practice a lot. I think that's all the build up. So I want to focus on more in the moment what makes people great. When the money's on the line, at the end of the game, at the end of the situation, what aspect then makes some people real good and some people not? So I'm going to talk today about Aristotle's 3 keys of persuasion. So there's one key that I think is much more important than everyone else's, all the other 2, and I'll bring it all together at the end and show why I think that aspect is what makes some people great in a moment and some people not. So Aristotle's 3 points, 3 key aspects of persuasion. First one, logos. So logos means logic. Can you create a logical plan for your doctor, for your customer, to follow along on why they should use our anchor or go into business with you? Some people I think are very good at this, De Leon and Kruger. I think they laid things out. Guys who trained under Vinny are very good at this aspect of the persuasion. Doctor, these are your 3 problems. These are my 3 solutions. If they match up, why wouldn't you use our product? I think many times that works great. It's a very successful way to go. But obviously, I get very frustrated with the fact that sometimes, for whatever reason, the guy doesn't jump. You lay out the plan like, this is your problem, I have the perfect solution, and they still don't want to use the anchor. They don't want to use the product. So you move on to the next point. Next aspect, ethos, which is character. Have you built up the character to make sure that they trust you, that they want to go into business with you? Have you earned the right to have that business yet? And that's something that takes a lot of time. It's something that we preach all the time, and that your personal life and your business life have to match up. You can't treat your business one way and your personal life another way. That character aspect won't build up. It won't be there. And the doctor won't want to go into business. You haven't earned the right to get that business. And the third aspect, and the aspect I think is the most important, and I think the aspect that really differentiates a lot of people, is pathos, which is feeling or emotion. Now, when thinking of guys who are great in the moment, I don't think emotion is something that really always gets considered. I think it's something that's misconstrued a lot. You think someone who's great in the moment, you think they're cool under pressure. You think they have, ice water running through their veins. They're not guys you'd say are really emotional. When really I think it's the opposite. I think those guys are the most emotional. We were just sending out the video last week of Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson was one of the most feared fighters of all time, and especially when in his prime. But in the video, you notice that he describes himself as being scared. Now, when you think of someone who's the most feared fighter ever, scared isn't the word that you'd use to describe it. Why would they be scared? What would they be scared of? He used to say, he's like, I was scared that I was going to lose. I was scared that I was going to get beat up by this guy. And he was able to use that to train harder. His preparation was built on him being scared. And you hear him say, I was extremely scared and I was extremely confident. And his ability to kind of feel each individual emotion and use each individual emotion in a way that will help him be successful is what made him dominate in the ring. So I'm going to tell you a little story. On Saturday, my mom came over to Fire Island. She got to meet Adam, meet some other people that I'm friends with over there. And we got lunch and walked around. And I make a point to see my mother every Monday. Some just like these meetings, the Wednesday workouts. If I hit all those points throughout the week, I had a productive week, just the way it goes. So I see her every Monday, and we talk, but we rarely talk. It's always like, oh, like, what'd your day go like, this and that. Rarely do we have like deep conversations. Just the way our relationship is, it just doesn't happen that often. On Saturday, it did, for whatever reason. So as you all know, my mother has, over the past 2 years, been going through the whole breast cancer fight, and she's doing very well with it. But if you ask people who haven't seen her in a while, how Debbie's doing, and the thing that people remember when they see my mom and then leave is the amount of weight that she's lost. Not so much the breast cancer side. Over the past 2 years, my mom has lost close to 100 pounds. So her physical appearance, her lifestyle, everything has changed dramatically. And everyone asked her how it happened. Like, did you go Nutrisystem, Lucille, whatever, what plan did you use to help you along that way? And my mom doesn't have an answer for her. She went down to Lucille Roberts one day, signed up for $5, $10 a month, and started working out. She never met with a nutritionist, she never met with a personal trainer, and she hasn't to this day. She does the aerobics class that they offer for free, and she works out on her own. So I asked her, I was like, why? After 38 years of kind of being one way, why did you all of a sudden change? And it's so drastic to me because I don't know her any other way. Like, when she was young, she was athletic, she was a gymnast and all that. Well, I have no memories of her being athletic. She was always a bigger woman. So I asked her, what was it, why did you suddenly change? She said her whole life, she tried to not be emotional. Her way of protecting us kids was to hide her emotions. Never let us see her cry, never let us see her be sad. In a way to protect us, she wants to grow her up in that type of environment. And she said, when she went through the breast cancer thing, she was reading a book, and in this book there was a study that said, if you work out 4 to 6 hours a week, the chance of the cancer coming back goes down by 60%. And she said, I got extremely emotional. She said, my whole life, I've been living a certain way, hiding my emotions, so that my reward was to see you guys be successful. Like, this is the reward now, the next 20 years of my life. It's like, to see you guys be successful in a way that, if I didn't do that, maybe you wouldn't have had that opportunity. So she's like, I got really emotional about it. And she actually used the words, like, that's what persuaded me to make the change. She's like, obviously for years I knew I should have. There's no secret she was overweight, no secret for her health she should have started working out and made some changes. For whatever reason, that emotion in that moment when she was reading that book was what persuaded her to change. And that was extremely insightful for me. The fact that someone who said they lived their entire life hiding emotions, to say the most drastic change of their life was to be emotional. And I feel like that emotion is what truly makes people great in the moment and leading up to the moment. So to bring it all back together, 3 aspects of persuasion, 3 key aspects. Logos, logic. Have you laid out a logical plan for your doctor to follow? Ethos, character. Have you earned the right to have a business? Can you trust you as a business partner that everything's going to go as planned? And 3, most importantly, pathos. Do you have the emotion needed to either harness it, move in the right direction, or that emotional connection with your client to have them jump for you? We all know the majority of decisions are made on emotions. So do you have that emotional connection with whoever you're trying to partner with? Do you have that emotional connection with yourself to persuade change in your own life? And do you have that emotion to be great in the moment, to really harness that emotion and excel? And I think if we look at our sales process for each client, or whatever we're working on, if we break it down into those 3 areas and look at if there's a reason why the guy hasn't jumped yet, one of those 3 areas is lacking. We haven't laid out a logical plan, we haven't earned the right to the business, or we haven't made that emotional connection yet. And I think if we can break down our sales process for each individual client like that, not only individually will become more rounded as a salesperson or as a business person, but obviously the numbers will follow as well.